Hello guys, welcome to another video here under the web fundamentals learning part, and we're currently under the how the web works module, and we're currently going to be studying how website works. And without further ado, let's just dive into it. And here, task 1, how websites work. Now by the end of this room, you will know how websites are created, and we'll be introduced to some basic security issues. Now, when you visit a website, your browser like Safari or Google Chrome makes a request to a web server asking for information about the page you're visiting. Now, it will respond with data that your browser uses to show you the page. Now, a web server is just a dedicated computer somewhere else in the world that handles your request. Now, there are two major components that make up a website. One is the front end, which is the client side, the way your browser renders a website, and there's a back end, the server side, a server that processes your request and returns a response. As you can see here, we are always here in the back end of this the browser. When you search on your browser, the request from your browser is sent through the internet, and the request from your browser goes to the server. Server picks up the request or gives the result, and the response from the server passes through the internet back again to your browser. Okay, there are many other processes involved in your browser making a request to a web server, but for now, you will just need to understand that you make a request to a server and it responds with data your browser uses to render information to you. Now, what term best describes the component of a web application rendered by your browser? What term describes the component? Okay, the one rendered is the front end. These are two major components. So the front end should be the answer. Okay. Now, task 2. Websites are primarily created using visit website. I think that's already clicked the view site. Now, websites are primarily created using HTML to build websites and define their structure, CSS to make website look pretty by adding styling options, JavaScript to implement complex features on pages using interactivity. Now, hypertext markup language (HTML) is the language websites are written in. Elements, also known as tags, are the building blocks of HTML pages and tells the browser how to display content. Now, the code snippet below shows a simple HTML document, the structure of which is the same for every website. Now, we get this, and the HTML structure as shown in the screenshot has the following components. Now, the first thing here is the doc type HTML, which is the first thing here. It defines that the page is a HTML5 document. This helps with standardization across different browsers and tells the browser to use HTML5 to interpret the page. Okay. Now, the HTML element. This is basically what starts the programming for HTML. This HTML element here is the root element of the HTML page. All other elements comes after this element. Now, the head. The head element contains information about the page, such as the page title, and so on and so forth. Now, the body. The body element defines the HTML document's body. Only contents inside of the body is shown in the browser. Now, the H1 element defines a large heading, and the P element defines a paragraph. Now, there are many other element tags used for different purposes. For example, there are tags for buttons, images, and lists, and much more. Now, tags can contain attributes such as the class attribute, which can be used to style an element. Example, make the tag a different color. So the P element here shows you the class attribute here to bold text, or the source attribute, which is used on images to specify the location of an image, the SRC, something like this. So image source, and then it gives you the location of that image. Now, an element can have multiple attributes, each with its own unique purpose. Example, the P element that defines the paragraph. It's not like the English paragraph, but it shows you an attribute 1, which is value 1, attribute 2, value 2, and enclosed here in the P element. Now, elements can also have an ID attribute. So we have an ID, for example, which is unique to the element. So unlike the class attribute, where multiple elements can use the same class, and elements must have different IDs to identify them uniquely. So element IDs are used for styling and identifying, or to identify it by JavaScript. Now, you can view the HTML of any website by right-clicking and selecting View Page Source in Chrome, or Show Page Source in Safari, or you can just click Ctrl U. That easily does that. Now, answer the question below. Now, let's play with some HTML. On the right-hand side, which is already open, you should see a box that renders HTML. If you entered some HTML into the box and click the green render HTML code here button, it will render your HTML on the page. You should see an image of some cards. Yeah, you can see image here, see some cards, render that, and that's completed for the question 1. Question 2, one of the images on the cards website is broken. Fix it, and the image will reveal the hidden text answer. Okay, so we have image 1, cat 1 is showing, image 2 needs to be fixed, and that should be the extension. It should be the same thing as the JPG, I think. And if we render that, let's see the hint. The cat 2 image on line 10 is missing its image extension, so we just typed in the JPG, so it should actually show. Let me see. Yeah, the JPG, or let's try the PNG and see, and hit render. It doesn't do the same. Okay, what's going on? The JPG render. Okay, here we go. It works this time. So HTML hero, that should be HTML hero. Good. And the third one here is add a dog image to the page by adding another image tag on line 11 here, and the dog image location is image/dog.1.png. What is the text in the dog image? So I'm just going to click here and clear out all this here reading here, and you're imputing an image, not caps, image, and the source element src that's equals to image / looking at dog.1.png, and we put in the close quotations, and we're going to render that, and here we go. dog HTML. That brings us to the end of task 2, and let's head to task 3, JavaScript. Now I'm going to click on view site, so it brings us a new page here. Okay, now JavaScript JS is one of the most popular coding languages in the world and allows pages to become interactive. Now HTML is used to create the website structure and content, while JavaScript JS is used to control the functionality of web pages. Now without JavaScript, a page would not have interactive elements and would always be static. Now JS can dynamically update the page in real time, giving functionality to change the style of a button when a particular event on the page occurs, such as when a user clicks a button, or to display moving animations. Now, JavaScript is added when the page source code and within the page source code, and can be either loaded within script tags or can be included remotely with the source attribute, and that is scripts src, and then the location of the JavaScript file, the JS, and then enter the script. Now, the following JavaScript code finds a HTML element on the page with the ID of demo and changes the element's content to hack the planet. So it's written as document.getElement. This is case sensitive. Get element by ID demo dot. What are we changing? The inner HTML, which is the demo. So we're changing it to hack the planet. And then HTML elements can also have events such as onClick or onHover that executes JavaScript when the event occurs. Now the following code changes the text of the elements with the demo ID to button clicked. Okay, this code here almost same as the previous one, but here we now have button clicked first, then we'll have the click me, and then ends it with button. Okay, the button elements. Now onClick events can also be defined inside the JavaScript tags and not on elements directly. Okay, now click the view site. We've done that button on the tags on the right hand side, and we're going to add JavaScript that changes the demo elements context to hack the planet. So we can just, let me try to type that particular script here. That should be document dot get element elements by ID. Okay, case sensitive. Open up a bracket, and we have double quotation demo, close quotation, close bracket, and then dot inner HTML, and then we have that as is equals to double quotes, and we have hack the planet. Okay, so we've done that. We're going to run that script now, and yes, congratulations, the answer is JS is fun. So all in caps, JS is fun is the answer to that, correct? And add the button HTML from these tags that changes the elements text to button clicked on the editor on the right, and update the code by clicking the render JS code and button, and then click the button. I'm just going to copy the whole of this, and we are going to put that here on the script, I believe. Yes. Let me see, there's a hint here. So I'll put the following on the HTML between line 7 and 8 button. So between line 7 and 8, so we can actually do that. That should run before that. So Ctrl V, I'm going to render, and you can see it happens. Click me. So congratulations, JS is fun. I thought that's what we did. Yes. Completed, and yes, we're done with tax 3. If you're not a developer, if you're a developer or you're interested in developing websites, this would be very much interesting to read more on. Now, tax 4, sensitive data exposure. The sensitive data exposure occurs when a website doesn't properly protect or remove sensitive, clear text information to the end user. Let me view the site here. Usually found in a site's front end source. Okay. Front-end source code. Okay, now we now know that websites are built using many HTML element tags, all of which we can see simply by viewing the page source. Okay, Ctrl U, we can do that. A website developer may have forgotten to remove login credentials. That is risky. Hidden lines to the private parts of the website, or other sensitive data shown in HTML or JavaScript. Something like this. Now, sensitive information can be potentially leveraged to further an attack's access within different parts of a web application. For example, there could be a HTML comment with temporal login credentials, and if you viewed the page source code and found this, you could use these credentials to log in elsewhere on the application, or worse, used to access other back-end components of the site. So maybe you see text, username, password, type password, name, password. To do remove text credentials, admin is the username, password is 1234. So you can see this was more like a comment, and yeah, it's a very important credentials that is set out there. So now, whenever you're accessing a web application for security issues, one of the first things you should do is review the page source code to see if you can find any exposed login credentials or hidden links. Now, view the website on this link. I think we've done that. What is the password hidden in the source code? Let me click this. Okay, password hidden in the source code. I'm just going to click on Ctrl U to take me to the source code, and I see username admin, password test, it's so easy, like it was so easy here. So I'm going to close this. I've already copied the password, hit submit, and that's it. Okay, last task 5 here. Click on view site and HTML injection. Now, HTML injection is a vulnerability that occurs when unfiltered user inputs is displayed on the page. Now, if a website fails to sanitize user inputs or filter any malicious text that a user inputs in a website, and that input is used on the page, an attacker can inject HTML code into a vulnerable website. Now, input sanitation is very important in keeping a website secure, as information a user inputs into a website is often used in other front-end and back-end functionality. So a vulnerability you would explore in another lab is database injection, where you can manipulate a database lookup query to log in as another user by controlling the input that directly used in the query. But for now, let's focus on HTML injection, which is client side. Now, when a user has control of how their input is displayed, they can submit HTML or JavaScript code, and the browser will use it on the page, allowing the user to control the page appearance and functionality. Using user types information into this field, and this is how the code looks like. And then the input is used in a JavaScript function to show the name of the page. So if you type in friend, it shows your friend. And the last thing here is that no input is sanitized, so you can write your own HTML or JavaScript and it will be used in the page. So if it's not properly sanitized, you can take advantage of this. Now, the image above shows how a form outputs text to the page. Whenever the user inputs into the what's your name field is passed to a JavaScript function and output to the page. Now, which means if the user adds their own HTML or JavaScript in the field, it's used in the say hi function and is added to the page. Now, this means you can add your own HTML, such as h1 tag, and it will output your input as pure HTML. Now, the general rule is never to trust user inputs. To prevent malicious input, the website developer should sanitize everything the user enters before using it in the JavaScript function. Now, in this case, the developer could remove any HTML tags. Now, answer the question below. View the website on these tags and inject HTML so that a malicious link to http://hacker.com is shown. Okay. First, we just want to try something like if I type in name, Emmy, and say hi. Let me say Emmy. If you say hi, it will say welcome, Emmy. So we can input something here. Now, I'm not very good at writing JavaScript or HTML language, so we'll just try what I learned online for this, and that should be like A. This is how you start it, and you end it with /A, I believe. And here we can just add href, and we should use the http /hacker.com, and that should input something like http hacker.com. I don't know if I'm getting it correct, and that should end it. Let me see if it works. Let me just see if it works. Okay, it did. So I believe it's just inputting any HTML input just to show that you can actually use a HTML injection and if you paste that, and that should be the answer. And that brings us to the end of the room on how website works. And the next room would be putting it all together. That will be the end for how web works module. Thank you for studying with me. Thank you for learning with me. I'll see you guys in the next room, and do have a lovely day. Ciao.